Hey everybody, I'm here with Willie Geist and Studio AG, and I want to ask you to explain to me and everyone watching about red, white, and you.
Red, white, and you, Seth. What I find one thing is that millennials love to be talked to by a 40-something guy that explained who they are, what they like, and how they're going to vote.
Yeah.
And so they exist in a glass case.
Do you think millennials ever refer to themselves as millennials?
Never have they once.
And I
Never
think
have
that's
they
true.
But let's do this anyway.
Yeah.
So Red, White, and You is a NBC News initiative. It's a series of stories, of profiles we're doing to dig in and find out why millennials are voting the way they are and if they're going to vote at all. So it's a huge group. It's 69 million people, which now has just surpassed baby boomers as the largest subpopulation in the country of 330 million people. So they're incredibly influential outside politics, but in this context, we're talking about politics. And the question really has been this year is, will they come around, because they favor Hillary Clinton at this point, will they come around to her from the Bernie camp, from sort of the Elizabeth Warren camp, and get in line and vote for someone they're not particularly enthusiastic about in Hillary Clinton?
I was surprised, in a way impressed by that voting bloc because of the way they were drawn to somebody like Bernie Sanders, who I don't think you would have predicted before the election was going to be a millennial magnet.
Right.
Does this mean, my takeaway is that they are drawn to messaging more than any sort of flash or flair.
You mean he's not the poster child, the 74-year-old cranky guy for the 20-year-olds?
But that yet his messaging was the messaging I feel like they most wanted to hear, which impressed me.
You know what? I think also they, in a weird way, the term rigged has been so tied now to Trump, but that was Bernie's message too. And you have to think about young people grew up in this world where they saw growing up 9/11, failures of intelligence. They saw Katrina, failure of the government to take care of people. They saw Iraq. They saw the economy meltdown. So their trust in institutions alongside their independence, which is to say they don't align as much as older people do with a particular party. The message Bernie Sanders had was, I get it. All the things you've seen in your life, including student loans and the things you're dealing with right now, have been rigged against you, and it's time for somebody to come in and blow up in the system. So they really responded to that with Bernie, just not enough for him to beat Hillary.
Now, the other question is, where are they getting their news? And this is maybe a little scary.
You, unfortunately.
No, well, we are conventional media, even though I'm a comedy show and you're a news show. Like, you watch us on television, you can get us on the internet. Do you think, though, that they're getting their news in the same way that the baby boomer generation did?
No, I don't think so at all. In fact, if you watch the debate numbers, the numbers were big, but if you add in people who watched on Snapchat, people who watched on Facebook Live, that's where millennials go. I mean, that's just instinctively. For us, it was we watched the debates growing up, so now we're going to turn on MSNBC or NBC News and watch the debate. That's not their first thought. Their first thought is to pull out their phone or their tablet and watch it where they live. So they're consuming, obviously, media in a much different way. And I think political campaigns and some of us in a little bit older media struggle to keep up with the way they consume that way. And so it lends itself to always hysterical moments of politicians trying to be down with the kids.
Yeah.
If you have like Hillary Clinton doing the whip nay-nay with Ellen, stuff like that.
Well, that, again, and that goes back to the fact that it didn't strike me that at any point Bernie tried to do something that he thought millennials liked.
Right.
Whereas the whip nay-nay is this real question of authenticity. And it strikes me that that generation, this voting bloc that we're talking about, has a far better nose for when people are being inauthentic.
Right.
And in a good way, hopefully that will lead our politicians to stop trying to pretend they're things they're not.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it will. I mean, in his own way, Donald Trump has given some brand of authenticity, which is to say he has no filter and he doesn't care what he says or what people think about what he says. He's just him. And Bernie Sanders was the same way, too. So I think hopefully the next time around you start to see rewards for that. And they just see calculation. I mean, there are times up on the stump when the candidates look like they're performing in Veep.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be ripped out of that show sometimes. And I always feel like younger people are so media savvy now just because they consume so much of it and the fourth wall has been broken for them in so many different areas. They get how things work. They have access to things. So if you try to fool them, they're not going to reward you for doing that.
I think as a trend, older generations always blame younger generations for everything that's wrong, which seems unfair because the younger generation have had the least amount of time to screw everything up.
Right.
I feel in fairly safe hands with this voting bloc we're talking about. And I hope they've appreciated us talking about them. A couple of cool dudes.
Cool
rolled up
dudes.
shirt,
Yeah, this is
blazer.
rolled up.
I think we know what
Rented these
millennials are
sneaks.
looking for.
Yeah,
Exactly. These
feel
are
pretty good.
I rented jeans. I don't own jeans. All right. Thanks so much for being here, Willie.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.